Welcome back. It is Sunday. We're going to sell those open cows. So Wendell Anderson Trucking out of Britain is coming. Millie, Sparky, you guys got to come with me. Load up, girls. Oh, come on. See if you can do it. Good job. All right, I'll help you. Come on. There you go. Get on the concrete. Jump. Those few calves we lost, they've been on a high meat diet, these calves. So nothing's going to waste, but as you can see, Millie's gained about 5 pounds. Now you can't even hardly jump up on there. You're a little toad. Jump up there, little toader. So today is Sunday. We're gonna haul these cows. We're gonna haul them today, obviously. Make yourself some room, come on in. Just trying out to be my new camera woman. Got an attitude problem that we're working through, but the West Barn does their sales all in one. So they'll sell their cows in the morning, feeder cattle in the afternoon. So they kind of just do one big sale. I got a big run of calves coming in. So we're gonna get these cows down there today. They'll sell tomorrow morning. I'm planning to go down there, watch them, film it. There's a chance some of them could be bred, so I'm gonna double preg check some of these cows to make sure that we're not selling any bred cows that we would keep. I don't think there are, but we're just gonna be safe that way. Let's go load these puppies up.
Okay, you're high enough.
So that bar is gonna sit down, or that board will sit down. This was designed, so this angle iron was supposed to be on this side of it, but over the years it's been pushed back. So there's another board that goes across here. So this turns out pretty good. I got this board screwed on here because some holes so their feet don't go in. Got kind of a double alley back here, but it's not quite perfected. I built this from scratch, and I need a better gate here to divide gate, because with the way that's set up, sometimes that'll get bumped over and then it can get turned around and it just doesn't work quite right. So a lot of times we just use a single alley, but they're going to come from in here. And then we bring them in here. They go up and they dead end up there. Once they dead end, and then they turn around when they come back. They think they're going away, but they're actually just going right down the alleyway. There's like a dozen that we tagged. Because when Curtis was pregging them, pretty confident he called them open. We both are pretty confident, but they were pretty middle-aged young cows that were in good shape, so we're just a little surprised that they were open. Probably re-preg those just to double check. The more I look at them, there's not many that would be worth even keeping back, so. Don't want no casualties today. Same design as that other one I showed you a while back. Pumping pretty good. Truck's showing up.
No. No.
There's multiple compartments in there. He's got a nose, they call it, And some of them, they can split the noses, but this is just open, so they got to put 5 or 6 in the front. And there's 2 compartments in the top middle. There's 2 compartments in the bottom. And then there's 1 compartment in the back. And then there's also a dog house, they call it, which you could put calves in there. Keep going. Okay, stop. Yeah, chunks. I got some chunk to them. Okay. So this is kind of like a bud box, but not quite. But they get down here, and then they want to come back. But we trick them to going down the alleyway instead of coming out this gate. And then the other trick is, if you act like you're trying to stop them, like, oh no, I don't want you to go, it usually makes them go. Like, oh, like you wanted to sort her off, but she takes off. So nobody's behind them per se. Everything's done from the side. Be all right? Yep.
Yep. Come on, girls. Get up.
Now we'll let these fat cattle, they can have that other pen over there too for a little more space, and then they can get a little silage up along that bunk line. These guys are loaded up, ready to roll. Make sure he gets out of here. This is where we widened that, if you remember last year, I mean this summer. That is a experienced trucker there. Didn't start out in super low, so he had a little bit of momentum once he got rolling. So this was the plan, you know, we had widened this out, but of course it's February, this should all been frozen, which would have been awesome, but it's better than it used to be, and it'll only get better from here. You know, in a perfect world, I'd have that road would widen over there so these trucks could pull all the way up almost to those trees, you know, another 10 feet off of the road and get good and straight to back up to the chute. Then the REA electrical company told me that they're gonna go underground for this service to this farm. So next year will even be better yet, because these poles will be taken out, and then that center pole will be taken out. And then all we got to do is widen some gravel around in here so the trucks can pull in, and they'll just be able to literally just make a loop right up in the yard there. If we widen this grass out a little bit and that pole and my pickup and stuff would not be there, they could just whip right through, pull in, and then get lined up straight. All right, enough about that. We will see you in the morning in Aberdeen. These aren't ours, but we missed ours because, well, for one reason, they got a big sale today, and we were on our way down here. We're like probably an hour and 30 minutes from Aberdeen. So we missed ours. I did watch them on the phone on my way down. There are a few left to sell of ours that they preg checked, and then I think those are going to come in here after a bit. We'll try to catch those on film.
Right here. $4.50, $39.
Well, those were the ones that we had fragged or double checked to make sure. And there was one late, real late one in there, but otherwise the rest of them were all open. Didn't get a lot of footage down there at the sale barn. Really big day yesterday. People were scrambling around. Everybody was pretty jacked up. Cows sold good. You did see that little bit there. It's foggy again today. We're gonna put some hay out for the calves. Check the feeders. We might have to start, feeders are empty. We might have to start pulling them out because I ain't gonna get that feed truck in there. We might have to drag all the feeders out to the road. Good times. Good times. What's up, girls? Are you excited today or what? It's been awful foggy for probably a week or better. But, you know, we barely get 35, 34, and then it goes 32 at night. So it's like this mud just will not leave. I'm sure the moisture we are losing into the air is what creates the fog. I'm not a certified meteorologist, but that's usually what happens when you start melting and thawing. Koki, did you stay up there all night? Old Dane made her out to Kamak. Said those are pretty nice guys out there, and they're pretty excited about the mats. So they told him he better get building because they're gonna sell them. This mud's perfect for promoting those mats around those waters, because pretty much sounds like everybody in the country is fighting midwinter thaw this year. We're gonna start building ones for creep feeders as well. I got 2 out there on some creep feeders of mine, trying that. But we're gonna, when I say I mean I come up with the ideas and then I have Dane build them. But if we had a mat that would fit right up to the creep feeder and then have just a notch so it would go, the tire would slip through it, you know, self feeders. Look at this. Here's 2 mats up by this water. We got them chained under the fence, so there's 2 on that side, 2 on this side, but perfect. Have lost no dirt. So yeah, I bedded these guys down again yesterday with Bale of CRP, so they got a pretty nice little hill here. Still doing pretty good. I'm guessing when it's warmed up now, staying warmed up, that they're gonna cut back on feed a little bit. Yeah, this feeder's still half full. They just don't need as much energy when it's this warm, so they're gonna just back off on the feed. So you guys saw in that last couple videos when we boosted all the calves, we had to chip the snow and stuff out of the chute and the ice. So we've been talking about a hoop building big enough to house the chute and the alleyway and the bud box. And then of course all of our vet shack area would be under the roof. Leave it in the comments if anybody's got a hoop building with a working facility inside of it, and which building you chose and how it was and what you'd do different, maybe, or nothing. Maybe it's perfect. Usually when you build something though, you get back and you're like, yeah, you know, next time, or if I did it again, I'd do this, that, or that, you know. Put it in the comments which hoop building you guys have used. So that's going to be probably this summer's project, or starting this spring. Once we get cows to grass, then we're going to just attack it, and we'll be kind of forced to get it done before August to work the calves again. Stay tuned for that. So here's what the Bale grazing site's looking like. These cows are getting down to the last few bales. There's about 10 bales showing. They're doing a pretty good job considering the mud. This was a little bit nerve-wracking for me because it was on this steep side hill, and if they were to roll a bale through the fence, which they did up there, I'll show you in a sec, but would have hit a post or got stopped on the fence, we would have had a problem. They're churning and burning in this stuff, so we're getting quite an impact on the soil. The one time is when there's no frost, and I did have a problem where it had plugged it into the mud, and that did disrupt I think the nitrogen balance of the soil. It took all the nitrogen out of the soil to break down all that stuff that got stomped in. But so this bale here, it rolled over the wire. Luckily it rolled right over, and then the wire popped back up. Cows are full. I mean, their bellies are full, but they're not happy. I mean, they're getting down to the last of the last bales, and the corn stalks I'm sure have gotten muddy, but there are still some stalks sticking up out of the ground. Best thing you can do now while checking these cows, and the mud, they don't like the mud. They don't like walking around in the mud. They don't like having to eat through the mud. But the best thing you can do with cows like this when they're getting a little finicky now is to don't don't keep checking them. Don't keep driving over here and worrying about them and looking at them, and you know, because I just drove by. I was a half mile away from the cows, and they started following the pickup. And I haven't fed them for 4 or 5 days with a pickup, but they know what's up. And it's like, get yourself some binoculars and look at this. I'm just sliding down this hill because there's just no soil protection on top of this. This is an alfalfa field, but it's just bare dirt in between each row of alfalfa. Now, if I was to drive out there where we had bale grazed the last couple years, it's like a carpeted sponge, and there's all kinds of stuff on the soil. You could drive easily out there. But that's why we're bale grazing this next, is this hill needs to be rebooted. Here's the culvert we put in back in December. First off, I didn't know if I was going to get it put in because it was December, and then I said I'll never get to see it run until spring. Well, it's February and she's running. Dane had cut a little track going out here, but I see we're going to have to add, we should have threw the dirt on that dirt we should have threw over there because the water's kind of wanting to trickle back down to the lot. I think what I'm going to do is, I got that hay trailer. I'm going to go ahead and load that thing up with 2 times of filling the feeders, which would be 8 bales. Because I got more prairie hay over here than I got at my place. So I'm going to haul 8 bales of prairie hay over there. We'll leave that trailer by the calves, and then, like I say, we'll be able to fill it up today. And then 4 or 5 days from now, we'll have another 4 bales to put in. Here's my damage. That's got to get back up to here and welded, and then this rod supposed to go across, but I just shanked that thing too with this bale, so I got to bend that out and probably break that right now to get that out of the way. I'll show you my hookup situation because it's kind of hard getting this thing to be lined up perfect. So, well, it isn't hard, but it's kind of it's a big thing. What I want to do is change this out and put an actual hitch on here. But I talked to the DOT and they said, yeah, that's good as long as this chain is bigger than a 5/16. I don't know if that's 5/16 or not. She'll work. The worst thing that'll happen is it'll come unhooked and go in the ditch. Let's ride. Actually kind of impressed with how much power this thing has for pulling. I mean, obviously if I try to go full speed 26 mile an hour, you got to really hump it, you got to work it. But to drive 10 mile an hour or 12 mile an hour with a loaded rack of hay, and this one's not fully loaded so I can put the top rows on, but I've done it and it handles it just fine. It likes it. Well, I made it over here. I'm gonna park it across the highway. There's really not enough space over by the gate to do it, to grab them and carry them across, but I need to take 4 in there, and then we'll take this hay trailer. I don't know where. Calves are staying clean for the most part, but we're running out of time. It is going to freeze up here in 2 days, it looks like, and stay firm at night and maybe through the day, so that's going to be a blessing. We'll hopefully get to the end of this deal. Probably going to market these calves around the 1st of March, give or take, depending on weather. They're doing good. I'm going to show you these creep feeder mats. So we popped under 4 mats around these creep feeders. And you can see how that calf is standing there. He's not even in the mud. So that's why we were me and Dane were thinking maybe we should, when I say we, him, build one that's maybe 2 feet or 3 feet longer than a creep feeder with a notch for the wheel. Comes out about 6 feet, and then a guy could just slip them right underneath there, both sides, and then of course you could just move them to the next site. Hopefully, Phyllis, this is the last of the mud season, so that gullet should shut probably with mud. And let's get to some frozen ground. I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Ooh, I was gonna peace out on Millie's butt.